morning, everybody. Oh, I need coffee so bad this morning. Doesn't even have caffeine in it, but I'm pretending. Anyway, I hope you guys all had an awesome weekend, and yeah, you guys just had an awesome time, and hopefully it's not too cold wherever you are. It's about -7 where I am today. So it's looking like it's going to be not too bad of a day. Just wanted to mention, guys, Friday at 10 a.m. in Edmonton time. So if you're in Ontario, it would be 12 o'clock, I believe. But if you guys want, I'm going to be doing a Q&A for apologetics. So if you have any tough questions, or I know that there is a few people here that are on A.C.E ministries that don't necessarily believe in God, but they're kind of curious about it, or they're kind of like hum and hawing about it and things like that. And that's awesome, man. That's really great. And I really encourage that. And I encourage you to seek out the really tough questions and get answers for the tough questions, And so, anyway, this Friday at 10 a.m., I will be doing a Q&A. Depending on how many people show up, I might not have anybody show up. So, if depending on how long the conversations go, I'm probably going to do the Q&A for probably an hour, max 2 hours, depending on how many people show up, how many questions I have. And if you do have tough questions, if you guys can just comment below or send me a personal message. If you don't feel like sharing, on the whole page the question, you can send me just a private message with the question, and Friday I will tackle those. So yeah, Friday, 10 a.m. Edmonton time. So today, guys, I'm going to talk about priorities. And mainly, again, and I say this all the time, the reason why I do a lot of these questions, guys, is because a lot of the times it's stuff that I'm dealing with, right? So if you ever think that I'm, coming across holier than thou or things like that, or some self-righteous prick, no, I'm probably the chief of sinners when it comes to being a messed up person. And so by no means am I a perfect person. By no means do I claim that I am this holier than thou, halo over my head person. God is sanctifying me slowly every single day, just like every single one of you. So I want to make that clear, just because sometimes I can be a bit forward in my talking, and so I just want to make it clear that a lot of the times, guys, these topics I'm talking about is because God's dealing with me in this area. So today I'm going to talk about priorities. And my main thing I'm going to talk about is, what is your priority? Where is God on your list of priorities? Which is it's a bit of a hard question, right? But really, most people, the Holy Spirit doesn't need you to convict of that. You know full well where your relationship standing with God is, whether you've been really on the back burner, or whether you don't even have a relationship with God, whether or it might be good, right? So I'm going to read some verses here. So Matthew 6:24. All the verses today are out of Matthew, by the way. I'm going to be reading out ESV, but anyway, it says, "No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one or love the other, or he'll be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." So with that verse, it's just talking about, it's like, you can't really say you're a Christian and, spend every waking hour trying to just make that cash rain, and make, and there's nothing, I want to make it clear, guys, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a lot of money. I want to make that clear. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the love of money that is a bad thing, and that's the root of all evil, right? So there's nothing wrong with being rich. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of money. It's where your heart is with that money, right? It's the love of money that's bad, right? And so we cannot serve an entire different purpose and God, right? Where is your main priority, right? With that, because you can't serve two things, right? You can't be serving entirely the world and being like, I'm more concerned with having this amazing career and making $200,000 a year and then my relationship with God, right? And so that's kind of what that's talking about. So in Matthew 27:37-38, it says, "And he said to them, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment." And so if you think about it, if you love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, you'd probably would want to spend more than 40 minutes a week on a Sunday with him. Am I correct? It's like a best friend, right? Or someone that's your best friend, right? He's like, oh, this person's my best friend. He's like, we're just so close, we're so tight, we're like this, and it's like you haven't talked to the person in 3 years. You know what I mean? And so you can't really say that, right? And so you can you have a pretty good idea, where your relationship with God. Do you love the Lord with all your heart, soul, and mind? Because, if you're not spending any time with God, you're not reading the Word, you're not trying to know more about Jesus and know more about God and who He is, right? And spending that quiet time with Him. You know what I mean? You can't really say you love God. You can't, you can utter words all you want. Words don't mean crap if action doesn't follow through, guys. You can say, oh, I love Jesus. I love Jesus so much, and I love God so much, and I love all this stuff. Well, your actions really don't say that. You know what I mean? It's like, when was the last time if I went to your house, this is a good question. If I went to your house right now and picked this up, if you even had one, if I picked up your Bible in your house, can I go and blow dust off it? Right? And so we all kind of know where we're standing with that, right? So ask yourself that today. Do you love God with all your heart, soul, and mind? You know what I mean? And now the other part I'm going to say to this, I know some of you might really disagree with me on this, but because of sin and the nature of sin in the world, I don't think it's possible for anybody to 100% love God with all your heart, soul, and mind just because of the nature of sin, right? I just don't think that's possible. Now, I do think that in our heart, we can really, really try to love God with all our heart, soul, and mind, right? And really be in a right place. And that's amazing. You know what I mean? I think we need to be there. But I just want to, don't get into this like perfectionism, legalism crap, because it's not going to lead anywhere but disappointment. So the next thing I'm going to read is Matthew 6:19. It says, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy, where thieves break in and steal." And so what that verse is talking about, and me and my wife, my beautiful wife, I was talking with her the other day about this, where, it's super weird to think this, because I've never ever been in a place in my life where I've actually thought this. And it's just as of recently I've gotten to this place where we're talking about where we really don't care about our possessions. Like, we just don't. It's just stuff, right? It's like we were talking about, like, with the whole situation right now with me not having a job and trying to get an entire business up and going, right? And we're talking about, like, worst case scenarios and stuff like that. And, I got to a place where it's like, you know what? If we lose our house and we got to move into, like, a studio bachelor apartment or something, right? And I have to go work, at a retail store or something, and we're like dirt poor and things like that. It's like, really, whatever. Like I've gone to a point now where just stuff isn't important to me anymore. People are important to me. That's one thing I've gone in life is loving people and helping people brings you so much joy, like so much unspeakable joy when you spend time and money on other people. It's amazing how much joy it brings in your life. Materials, possessions, yeah, they're great when you buy them, right? You get that new rifle, you get that whatever, new little toy or whatever it is, right? And you do it and it's great, but it only has like very short temporary satisfaction most of the time. And most of you will agree with me on that. No, you buy something, you're super excited, you start using it, or I'll give you a good example, people that play video games. You buy a brand new video game, you start playing it, and it's amazing, you're super stoked, and then 3 weeks later you're kind of bored of it. You know what I mean? Or it's not as fun, it's not as interesting, right? And so what I'm trying to be more mindful of now is not on my possessions, not on how much money I make, not on the things I have or how big my house is or how nice of clothes I have or what Black Friday deal I can get. It's what I'm doing for God and His kingdom, right? And how am I loving people and how am I helping people, right? And I'm so in a mode now where like I so want to know Jesus and such a deeper level of Him and being in a deeper level in relationship with Him. And it just keeps growing in me, man. When you get that pride, when you make God your number one priority, right? And this is a good way, I'll say this. So this is a really great way for you guys just to quickly snap a finger tell whether God is a priority in your life or not. And so first thing I'm going to ask you is how much time do you spend in prayer a day? Is it just your quick robotic little morning prayer or a quick robotic little evening prayer you pray before you go to bed? There's no emotion in it. There's no, it's almost just like robotic memory. You're just praying the same thing every day. There's no kind of reality to it. You know what I mean? Are you even praying at all? You know what I mean? So how much time are you spending in prayer? And I don't mean just prayer. I guess this is what I'll say. Not in prayer, but how much time are you spending in honest, vulnerable prayer, right? And for those of you that might be searching out God, right, and you don't really know about this whole Jesus thing and these Jesus freaks talking on the phone and stuff, I really encourage you to just, it's super weird. When I first started praying, it is really weird, but it's amazing as well once you get into it. And I encourage you to just get in a quiet place and talk to Jesus like you would talk to your own father. You don't have to get all religious and use great holier than thou language and all that stuff. Just talk to him like a normal person, right? Be honest with him. Tell him what you're worried about. Tell him what you're scared about. Tell him, the things that you need help with. You know what I mean? Just be completely honest with him. You know what I mean? And I think that God respects our prayers more when we come at it that way, right? Where we're not being like Pharisee kind of praying like, oh Lord, holy, it's just be honest with him. Talk to him like he's your daddy. You know what I mean? And just have a respect of realize who you're talking to, right? You're talking to God, so have that respect there. But you can be like a child going to their father and just talking to him. So I encourage you to do that, right? If you don't know how to pray, right? So yeah, I want to leave that with you guys. I just want you to examine yourselves today and really ask yourselves, what is your number one priority right now in life? Is it money? Is it your job? Is it your kids? Right? Is it your girlfriend? Is it your wife? Is it your toys and things? Right? Our idols can come in many forms, guys. And to be honest with you, I know this is going to be hard to hear, but there's absolutely no excuse whatsoever. I don't care. Like, I've had so many people they'll be like, oh, well, I have 5 kids, or, oh, I have a job that I work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Whatever it is, right? There is no excuse to not make God your number one priority. Now, does that mean you need to spend 24/7 in a room praying to God? No. I believe that God gave us lives to live and things to do, right? We have things to do. So you don't have to spend 24/7 with God. It'd be nice, but I think God gave us lives to live, right? But I think what God is looking for is, where is your number one priority, right? When you wake up in the morning, is God the first thing you think about, right? Is going into a room and praying to him first thing in the morning because he's the first thing you want to talk to and do in the morning, right? That's all I'm saying, right? You don't have to spend 4 hours. It'd be nice if you can, but I think God's just looking at your heart and saying, where is your priority, right? Like, am I your priority? You know what I mean? Or am I on the back burner? Am I secondary right now? It's like, oh, when I got time, I kind of pray. Or, oh, when I get time, I read my word, right? I'm sorry, that's not making God a priority. That's making God, oh, when I get to it, right? And so I really encourage you to examine yourself today and to really ask yourself where your relationship with God is. And for people that might be listening to these videos who are really confused about Jesus, they don't know about this whole Christian thing, right? They don't understand it. You know what I mean? They're just curious about it, right? Things like that. I would love for you to just message me, right, in questions. And I'm not going to shove a Bible down your throat. If you got questions, I can't stand people that do that personally. So if you just want to talk and you want just an honest, discussion about it, by all means, message me, okay? So anyway, I'm going to leave that with you today, guys. I'm already at 15 minutes here, so it's pretty long today. But I want to encourage you guys. I hope you guys have a blessed day. And if you have topics you want me to talk on or questions you want me to answer on Friday, let me know. Remember, Friday, 10 a.m. Edmonton time. And yeah, guys, be blessed, And I'd also love input from people if there's something, especially if you disagree with anything I'm saying. I would love your input on that. So be blessed, guys. I love you guys. Stay safe, and God willing, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.